Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on the weather across Jamaica and the Caribbean. It is Friday evening, December 16, 2022. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video, share it, subscribe and tap the notification bell so that you'll be notified every time I post a brand new video. Also, feel free to leave a comment down in the comment section letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your area. I respond to all comments and I really live for this stuff. Alright, so let us take a look at the significant feature map across the Atlantic for this evening. We can see where that cold front that was affecting portions of the eastern United States yesterday has moved off to the east. So it's now affecting portions of Florida, as well as the northwestern tip of Cuba, as well as the northern portions of the Bahamas. We also have an area of high pressure to the north of the Caribbean, and to the east of that high pressure we have the tail end of another cold front that's stretching all the way up into the North Atlantic. And if we actually take a look back at the satellite images, we can see the clouds that represent those significant features. So here are the clouds that represent that first cold front that's still affecting portions of Florida, the Bahamas and Cuba, with some amount of overcast skies, showers and thunderstorms. And here's the other cold front. Here's the tail end stretching all the way up into the northern portions of the North Atlantic, which means that the high pressure ridge is right there to the north of Puerto Rico. We could draw an H right there to signal that high pressure. And we know that to the north of a high pressure we have westerly winds pushing all the way to the east, and to the south of the high pressure we have easterly winds pushing all of that wind and cloud into the Caribbean from east to west. Alright, so let us take a look at the satellite images across Jamaica for today. Yesterday a forecast was made and it was stated that we'd have all the wind piling up in inland portions of central and western Jamaica, and what ended up happening today? It exactly the same thing. So we actually had some clouds bringing isolated showers into portions of eastern Jamaica, and we had some buildup of clouds that caused some amount of isolated showers across inland areas of central and western Jamaica, especially western Jamaica. The portions of Westmoreland and Hanover got in on some of the rainfall, and we actually had some of that being shown on the Doppler radar images. So we know that green represents moderate rainfall, yellow represents strong rainfall, and we actually had some of that in the late evening hours affecting portions of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth right there. And if you actually take a look at the Caribbean Institute of Meteorology and Hydrology website, this will show us where it rained all day today. So we had some amount of rainfall in portions of St. Thomas, especially inland areas of eastern Jamaica, central Jamaica and western parishes. So Hanover and Westmoreland, as well as portions of northwestern St. Elizabeth, got in on some amount of rainfall today. Alright, so let us talk temperatures for this evening. So as stated, we're wrapping up all of the cool temperatures that we've been receiving for a majority of the island. The cool temperatures will remain across the usual spots. So we know 9 Mile in St. Anne, 21 degrees Celsius in Mandeville, 20 degrees Celsius in 9 Mile. Other spots we're returning to normal temperatures, especially with that easterly flow across the island. So we're not getting that northeasterly flow from the subtropics anymore, sending all of that cooler than normal temperatures down into Jamaica. We're back to that easterly flow with all of those warm temperatures. So we have 25 degrees Celsius in Sablamar, 26 degrees Celsius in Falmouth, 24 degrees Celsius in Spanish Town, 24 degrees Celsius in Port Antonio. And if you actually take a look at the forecast for tomorrow according to both the Euro and the GFS, we're not so much in the reds or the oranges, but in between, let's say the yellows with a slight blue to the east of Jamaica. So let's say about average temperatures is what we're going to be receiving tomorrow. This map is showing 18Z on Saturday, so that's about 1 p.m. on Saturday. That's the middle of the day, so we're not getting some drastic warm temperatures for tomorrow, so that's great news. And if we actually take a look at the wind forecast for tomorrow, we're going to be getting these greens. So that's anywhere from 10 to 20 knot winds with an easterly flow across the island on both models, that the Euro and the GFS model. And with that easterly wind, we're going to be getting some clouds coming into portions of eastern Jamaica, because the Euro and the GFS model are showing some amount of rainfall. Look at those blues across portions of St. Thomas and Portland. What time is that? Where's the agreement? 11 a.m. on Saturday. Look at this. Some of this rainfall still continuing into 2 p.m. on Saturday. Where's the consensus? Eastern Jamaica on both models, Euro and the GFS. and even spilling into 3 p.m. Eastern Jamaica as well. And if you actually take a look at the accumulated precipitation from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday. This says 3Z on Sunday, but we all know when we calculate that, that's 10 p.m. on Saturday. Yes, this is all the rainfall. And where's the consensus? Eastern Jamaica on both the Euro and the GFS. Okay, we see some rainfall across portions of Western Jamaica on both models. That's the rainfall that's falling right now. If we actually look back at the satellite images of Jamaica, yes, we still have some cloud cover across portions of Western Jamaica. That's the rainfall that they're still getting at this time. So yes, we have consensus in rainfall across portions of Eastern Jamaica. So it made sense that our workers here with the Jamaica made a post that we would receive some amount of rainfall on the morning and the afternoon of Saturday, December 17th. Okay, alright, so that's it for the weather across Jamaica. Let's talk back about the weather across the Caribbean. So we made mention of that cold front affecting portions of Florida, and if you actually take a look back at the satellite images, yes, the clouds represent that rainfall well. And if you actually take a look at the rest of the Caribbean, before we even look at the Doppler radar images, let's take a look at the rest of the Atlantic. So we have some clouds affecting portions of Costa Rica. We have some clouds affecting portions of Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, as well as French Guyana right there in South America. That was all of those clouds associated with the ITCZ. All of that is moving toward the west. And if we actually take a look at the Doppler radar images, we remember that Doppler radar images show rainfall. So this is the rainfall. We know that moderate rainfall is represented by the green, and the yellow represents strong or heavy rainfall. And we can see that rainfall across portions of Guyana, French Guyana, and Suriname at this time. Yes, we have some passing rainfall across portions of the ABC Islands. Not so much rainfall across portions of the Eastern Caribbean or the Cayman Islands or Belize right now. But where do we also see rainfall? Across portions of Florida and the Bahamas, as well as the northwestern tip of Cuba, associated with that cold front. And if we actually take a look at the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, we can see where yes, it rained across portions of Trinidad today with that east-northeast flow. So portions of eastern Trinidad as well as southern Trinidad got in on some rainfall. Portions of Dominica, just like what we predicted yesterday, got in on some rainfall today as well. And we didn't have much rainfall across portions of the Cayman Islands, but maybe the northeastern tip of the smaller islands got in on some rainfall, not so much in Grand Cayman at all. If we actually take a look at the wind forecast for tomorrow, yes, we're going to have anywhere from 10 to let's say 25 knots across portions of the Eastern Caribbean for tomorrow. Majority of the Atlantic, some form of easterly winds for tomorrow on both the Euro and the GFS. And when we're talking precipitation forecast now, where do we expect to see the rainfall? Alright, so we're going to be receiving some amount of rainfall as stated across portions of Jamaica. On the Euro model, the GFS is showing something similar. What about the other islands? Hispaniola, we see some amount of green across portions of eastern Hispaniola. We see some greens across portions of Puerto Rico, the western tip and the eastern tip of Puerto Rico on both models. It's more robust on the GFS, even although both maps are showing all the rainfall that we're supposed to be getting from now up until 3:00 on Sunday. And when we calculate that, that's about 10 p.m. on Saturday night. So this is all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Saturday night, and we see where the consensus is. Most of the heaviest rainfall still associated with that cold front to the north of Cuba, so portions of Florida and the Bahamas still getting in on some rainfall. Look at the Caribbean now, eastern portions. So look at this again, portions of Dominica getting in on some more rainfall right there. Not to mention portions of Guadeloupe as well, getting in on some more rainfall, as well as portions of St. Lucia, maybe even St. Vincent. That's on the GFS. What does the Euro show? Something similar, some amount of greens coming in. That's the Eastern Caribbean. What about the Southeastern Caribbean now? So, not so much for Trinidad. We have some spots in southeastern Trinidad and the Euro, the GFS, maybe northeastern Trinidad. Look at South America though. So, portions of Guyana, maybe even Suriname, and French Guiana still getting in on some rainfall, and that's anywhere from 0.25 to almost an inch of rainfall on both models. What about the southwestern areas now? So portions of Colombia still getting in on some rainfall on both maps. Panama, Costa Rica, especially Costa Rica, getting in on a lot of rainfall, up to an inch or two of rainfall across portions of Costa Rica. As usual, Nicaragua and Honduras getting in on some rainfall on both maps. And you know that when we have consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Not so much in the way of rainfall for eastern Cuba, the Cayman Islands, the southern Bahamas or Turks and Caicos, not to mention Haiti or northern Hispaniola. So those guys are getting a break, and it is showing on both maps. So we know that when we have nothing showing on both maps, the chances of it actually being sunny are higher for those spots. Alright, so that's it for today. Thank you all for watching. Do take care.